That's kind of very alarming to me. Why the hell would Future's blood brother, who kind of like runs the FBG label, why would he have a bunch of like, do people keep for their own personal use? No, right? I don't know too much about like that type of drugs, but no, right? So that kind of seems like they're doing some drug dealing, right? 21 kilos? Wow.
The feds just did a bleep sweep. Future's blood brother, FBG Casino, is now facing a federal sentence that could put his ass away for life. And this case has the entire hip-hop community shook. Behind Casino's flashy lifestyle and FBG connections, he was running a major operation that ultimately led to the feds kicking down doors with 21 kilograms of that poison and nearly $400,000 in cash. The crazy truth behind what brought Casino down is more complex than anyone imagined, and the feds are building something bigger that could reach all the way to Future himself. Yo, what's good, fam? We about to dive deep into some real federal drama that's been shaking up the Atlanta hip-hop scene. And trust me, this story got more layers than you think. Now, before we get into this wild ride, let me keep it 100 with y'all. The street's been buzzing about Casino getting snatched up, but yo, we about to separate the facts from the fiction, the real from the fake. November 19th, 2025. That's the date that changed everything for Rico DeVille Boyce, better known as FBG Casino, Future's actual blood brother. This 41-year-old was chilling at an Airbnb in Forest Park, Georgia, when the federal task force came through like a hurricane. Now, hold up before y'all start thinking this is just another street arrest. We talking federal charges, mandatory minimums, and the type of case that got Rico written all over it. But here's where it gets real spicy. Casino been moving like this for years. So why now, and why him? So, check it. November 14th, 2025. Federal agents from the FBI, DEA, and Clayton County Police rolled up on this Forest Park rental property like they were serving warrants in a movie. Picture this, Casino sees them coming and tries to make a run for it through the side door. 41 years old, running from the feds like he's still 20-something in the streets. But here's the thing about federal agents. They don't come unprepared. They had this whole operation mapped out. Probably been watching Casino for months. When they grabbed him trying to flee, they found $4,000 cash in his pockets. Now, for most people, that's a lot of money. But for someone moving the weight Casino was allegedly moving, that's just walking around money. Now, in the hood, we know running from the police is natural instinct. But when it's federal agents, that's a whole different level of heat. Casino's situation was different because this wasn't no corner boy operation. We talking about a sophisticated distribution network that had been flying under the radar for years. Let me tell y'all about David Estevan Modilo Diaz, the 23-year-old from Coachella, California, who got caught up in this mess with Casino. This cross-state connection is what probably put them on the federal radar in the first place. When you got people moving product from California to Georgia, that's interstate commerce. And that's when the feds get interested. This young man from the West Coast probably thought he was just making some easy money. But now he's facing the same life sentence as Casino. They caught Casino with $4,000 cash in his pockets, but that was just pocket change compared to what they found inside, 21 kilograms of that deadly substance. $380,000 in rubber-banded cash stacks, a money counter food sealer machine, and a Glock 19. That's some organized operation right there. The feds said they found an additional $80,000 in a designer bag that belonged to Casino. This man was living like a kingpin while his brother is worth hundreds of millions. But here's what's really wild about this whole situation. Casino literally appeared in Future's music video called "Feds Did a Sweep." In that video, he's surrounded by money, product, and living exactly the lifestyle that eventually got him arrested. Life imitating art, or art imitating life? Either way, it's like he was telling the world exactly what he was doing, and the feds were probably taking notes. But yo, this is where the story gets deeper than just a simple possession case. See, Casino been in the game since way back, talking about it openly in interviews, even dropping mixtapes called Ex-Drug Dealer in 2013. The man literally told the world he was an ex-dealer, but apparently that X part was just for show. Let me break down Casino's timeline for y'all because this story been building for over a decade. Back in 2013, he dropped that Ex-Drug Dealer mixtape, claiming he was done with the streets and focusing on music. The project featured Future, Young Scooter, and had production from Metro Boomin and Zaytoven, all the heavy hitters from Atlanta. Casino was positioning himself as someone who left the streets behind for the music industry. Fast forward to 2017, and Casino's doing interviews with DJ Small's Eyes, talking about how trapping is dead, saying real trappers don't exist no more. He's literally on camera saying the game changed, that people are sloppy, posting everything on social media, basically building their own cases. The irony is thick because that's exactly what he was doing. building his own case through years of interviews and social media posts. Then there's that street politician interview where Casino's moving around allegedly strapped, talking about having shooters on deck, showing off weapons in the back of a Rolls-Royce. People in the comments were saying he was moving reckless, that these videos were just self-incrimination. One comment said, "How many homies got to go to the feds before these cats realize these videos are just self-incrimination?" Turns out that comment was prophetic. For y'all who might not understand the street dynamics, let me explain. When your brother is worth $50 to $100 million like Future, and you still out here risking federal time, that's either pride, stupidity, or something deeper. In the culture, we call that not wanting to feel dependent. But Casino took that independence to a whole different level. Some people would rather risk everything than feel like they're living off someone else's success, even if that someone is their own blood brother. But here's where it gets complicated. Casino wasn't just Future's brother. He was also involved in the business side of FBG. He was described as someone who handled day-to-day operations, someone Future trusted with the label. So the question becomes, where does the legitimate business end and the illegal activity begin? That's exactly the type of gray area the feds love to exploit in RICO cases. The real kicker though, Casino is facing a mandatory minimum of 10 years with a maximum of life in prison. At 41 years old, that's essentially a death sentence. But here's what got me thinking. Casino been moving like this for years, posting on social media, doing interviews, even had that viral moment in Future's Feds Did a Sweep video where he's literally surrounded by money and product. So why did the feds move now? Real talk, somebody had to drop a dime. You don't just stumble across 21 kilos and $380,000 in cash by accident. The feds had specific intelligence. They knew exactly where to look, when to move, and what they'd find. Casino been operating for years, but something changed. Maybe it was the co-defendant, David Montilo Diaz from California. That cross-state connection probably put them on federal radar. But let me tell y'all how these federal cases really work. The feds don't just wake up one day and decide to raid somebody. They build cases for months, sometimes years. They use wiretaps, surveillance, financial records, and most importantly, they flip people. Somebody in Casino's circle got jammed up and started talking to save their own skin. Could have been someone who got caught with a smaller amount and decided to give up the big fish to avoid doing time themselves. Now, this ain't just about Casino getting caught with product. The feds love building RICO cases, and they got a blueprint from what they did to Young Thug and YSL. Think about it. Future got FBG, which stands for Free Bands Gang. Casino runs day-to-day operations. They got multiple artists, money flowing, and now federal charges. The feds could easily paint a picture where Future is the leader of a criminal enterprise using his music career to launder money from his brother's operation. Look at what happened with Young Thug and YSL. The feds argued that YSL wasn't just a record label, but a criminal street gang. They used rap lyrics, social media posts, and business transactions as evidence. Future is in an even more vulnerable position because his brother just got caught with 21 kilos. The feds could argue that Future knew about his brother's activities and used FBG to clean the money. Let that sink in for a minute. Future been rapping about the streets, the trap, moving weight, all that could be used as evidence in a RICO case. Songs like Move That Dope, Karate Chop. His whole catalog is filled with references to the lifestyle his brother was allegedly living. The feds love using rap lyrics, and Future got a whole catalog talking about that life. They could argue that FBG isn't just a record label, but a criminal organization with Future as the boss and Casino as the street lieutenant. Here's another angle the feds might pursue, following the money. If Casino was making hundreds of thousands of dollars from illegal activities, where was that money going? Was any of it being invested in FBG? Were there legitimate business transactions that were actually money laundering? The feds have forensic accountants who specialize in tracing dirty money through legitimate businesses. Now, this ain't just about one arrest. This is about how the feds operate in 2025. They don't just want the street-level dealers. They want the whole organization. Look at what happened with YSL. Look at what they tried with Cash Money back in the day. Look at the BMF case. The pattern is always the same: start with the soldiers, work your way up to the generals. But here's what really got me thinking. Why now? Casino been doing this for years. So why did the feds move in November 2025? Could be that Trump's new administration is cracking down harder on these cases. Could be that someone high up in Casino's organization got arrested and started cooperating. Or could be that the feds finally had enough evidence to move forward with a larger RICO case. But here's what really got me confused. Why was Casino still in the streets when Future could have easily put him on payroll? We talking about a man worth hundreds of millions and his blood brother out here risking life in federal prison for what? Pride, independence, or maybe Future been keeping his distance because he knew this day would come. See, in the streets, there's this mentality that you don't abandon the game that made you. Even when you got legitimate opportunities, some people feel like they owe the streets something. Casino might have felt like he couldn't just walk away from the people who were depending on him, the network he built over the years. But that loyalty to the streets might cost him the rest of his life. In the streets, we know family loyalty runs deep, but business is business. Future probably told Casino years ago to get out the game, but you can't save somebody who don't want to be saved. Now Future is in a position where helping his brother could implicate himself in a federal conspiracy. If Future pays for Casino's legal defense, the feds might argue that's evidence of a criminal enterprise taking care of its members. The real question is whether this is just about Casino or if the feds are building something bigger. They got Casino on conspiracy charges, which means they believe he was working with others. They got that California connection with Modelo Diaz. They got years of social media posts, interviews, and music videos that could be used as evidence. This could be the beginning of a much larger investigation into FBG as an organization. Let me tell y'all about this Homeland Security task force that arrested Casino. This ain't just local police. This is a federal task force specifically designed to target transnational criminal organizations. They got resources, they got manpower, and they got a mandate to go after big fish. The fact that they use this task force for Casino's case suggests they think this is bigger than just one man moving product. At the end of the day, Casino's situation isn't just about getting caught with product. It's about pride, family loyalty, and the consequences of not knowing when to walk away. This man had every opportunity to leave the streets behind. His brother is one of the biggest rappers in the world. He could have been living comfortable without risking federal time. But sometimes the streets don't let you go, or maybe you don't want to let the streets go. Casino's story is a cautionary tale about what happens when you can't evolve past your circumstances. He had the blueprint for success right in front of him. His brother went from the streets to superstardom. But instead of following that path, Casino stayed loyal to a game that was never loyal to him. Now he's 41 years old, facing life in prison. And for what? Money he didn't need, respect from people who won't be there when he's doing decades in federal prison. The real question is what happens next for Future and FBG. If the feds are building a RICO case, this is just the beginning. They'll be watching every move, analyzing every lyric, following every dollar. Future might have to make some hard decisions about his brother and his business to protect himself and his career. This case could have major implications for the entire hip-hop industry. If the feds successfully argue that FBG is a criminal enterprise, it sets a precedent for going after other labels and artists. Every rapper who ever talked about the streets in their music could potentially be vulnerable to this type of prosecution. This case is bigger than just Casino. It's about how the feds are targeting hip-hop culture and using our own words against us. They did it to Bobby Shmurda. They did it to Young Thug. And now they might be coming for Future. The message is clear: success in hip-hop doesn't protect you from federal investigation, especially when family members are still active in the streets. What the feds are really saying is that they don't believe hip-hop artists can truly leave the streets behind. They're arguing that the culture itself is criminal, that the music is just a front for illegal activities. That's a dangerous precedent that could affect every artist who came from the streets and made something of themselves. Casino facing life in prison at 41 years old. And for what? Money he didn't need. Respect from people who won't be there when he's doing decades in federal prison. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is walk away from the life that made you, but the alternative is spending the rest of your life in a cage. The streets will always be there, but your freedom won't. As for Future, he just probably got the best lawyers money can by working around the clock to make sure this doesn't touch him. But the reality is, when the feds want you, they'll find a way to connect the dots. Future's best move right now is to distance himself from anything that could be seen as criminal activity and hope that his brother's case doesn't expand into something bigger. What are your thoughts on Casino's situation and how this might affect Future's career? Do you think the feds are building a RICO case against FBG, or is this just about Casino's individual choices? Do you think Future should have done more to keep his brother out of the streets, or is this just a case of a grown man making his own decisions? Share your thoughts in the comments and make sure you subscribe because we'll be following this case as it develops. The streets are watching, the feds are watching, and we'll be here to break it all down for y'all. Hit that notification bell because federal cases move fast, and when more information drops about this situation, you'll be the first to know. And check out the video on screen about how the feds built their case against Young Thug. Because the playbook they used then might be the same one they're reusing now against FBG. This is just the beginning of what could be a much bigger story.